Welcome to the Sideline Podcast. We've got Kentucky Derby. We have Game 7, Tampa Bay, Montreal. We're talking a little Flyers who are getting absolutely smacked right now. LeBron James, 41 years old, still doing it. This is the Sideline Podcast, episode 83. We got Tyler, Mr. Diesel there on the right, Booker on the left, myself, Kevin, here in the middle. I think that poll, I commented on X and it didn't give me a vote. So
you got to vote on YouTube, baby.
You got to vote on YouTube.
Man.
Is that what it is? So there we go. So we got to vote on YouTube and subscribe while you're over there. But welcome in. This is a Philly takeover. I kind of commandeered that name without asking you guys because you probably wouldn't have shown up. But we've got the 76ers live right now. We've got the Flyers getting beaten down, but dare I say, the 76ers are giving me some hope, which is a dangerous place to be because perpetually, my son, 7.5 years old, all he knows is disappointment in the playoffs when it comes to NBA basketball. So we'll see. We're fingers crossed. We saw that video of it's been the 80s since they've beaten the Celtics in the playoffs, and maybe today is the time. So we'll see. Come on, Joel and B. We need that. So how are you guys doing this evening? Tyler, Booker, how we doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. It's a beautiful day here in Eastern Washington. We got grass growing in the back. I planted seed the other week rather than buying all that expensive, rolled out sod. And I finally have grass coming up. But I've had to put like Constantine wire around the sides. I've got these sonic barriers that detect movement and send out a screech so that no animals come on it. Like I'm protecting that thing like it's my firstborn child. I do not have a child yet, and that's probably why I am protecting it like I am. So I'm going to be a good dad, I think. How you doing, Tyler? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just say I've tried to raise grass like 4 times, and it dies every time in the Washington summer. So I just don't even care anymore. I just don't even care. But how you doing, Tyler?
About grass.
What's your relationship with grass, Tyler? How do you
feel about grass? We are into the dregs of the off season when we're starting off with grass. That can only mean 2 things. This is an old man podcast, and we have very little to talk about. But no, I have a pretty solid lawn. I gave up on the trying to keep it too pristine. I just feed the bees these days. Let the dandelions come through. I'm not worried about it. Go make some honey. I'm a fan. And that way I don't have to pay $600 a year to keep my actual grass.
That's fair.
Yeah. There we go.
As long as it's legal grass, man.
Well, let's get into it. We've got our first up here. If this is your first time watching the show this evening, welcome in. We like to start out with kind of what's trending in the sports world, both on X and anywhere, just kind of the current events of the world. So obviously today we had Kentucky Derby, Golden Tempo, Tyler, and you were saying it was the first female trainer. Did I nail that? Avid horse racer for one day a year, but or horse, not racer. There's no way. I'm way too big to be getting up onto a horse, but horse racing fan. Is that the right way to say that?
Yeah, you might as well. It's the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. It's once a year we get to enjoy it. But yeah, some history made today. It's always fun to watch the Kentucky Derby, and especially when you get a sports history moment. So we had the first female trainer to win there. Was super excited. So always a good thing to be part of sports history.
I think here's my prediction, and this obviously PETA, don't come after us. That horse that tipped over, that sucker would have won the race if they would have let him get out there. Like, he was ready to go. He was so ready to go. He threw his jockey off. Like, I wanted to see him put the horse in just because I'm like, oh, that one's got some spice to it. I think that I have no idea who the horse was or the jockey was. Hope they're both okay. We'll probably never hear of them again. But, as soon as I saw him kick that jockey off, I was like, oh, if they let this boy in, he's gonna do some work. But it was a good race. Again, huge horse racing fan, one day a year. But that finish was awesome. Those 2 up the right side was pretty incredible. So let's get into some other trending stuff here. Booker, what do you got from the National Hockey Association?
Ooh, the NHA is what you just said. It's the National Hockey League, baby.
League. Been a day.
What you got in the NHA over there?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm mixing up the Diego Pavia NADA. Wait for that later in the show, but yeah, we'll go to the NHL Hockey League.
All right, we'll go to the NHL. So I'm going to make it real brief, but round one is almost over. Sabres beat the Bruins, won the series 4-2. First playoff win for Buffalo since 2007. The Sabres won all 3 games in Boston, including Game 6 by a score of 4-1. Buffalo just looked faster, more composed on the road. Boston was unable to defend home ice. The Lightning and the Canadiens, they're tied 3-3. Tampa forced a Game 7 with a 1-0 overtime win in Game 6. Every game of this series has been decided by 1 goal. So Vasilevsky for Tampa Bay and Dobesh for Montreal, they have been playing lights out there in the net-minding position. Hurricanes swept the Sens, the Ottawa Senators. So Canada's Canada's having a hard time in the playoffs. It seems like they kind of always do for some strange reason. And the Hurricanes are now playing the Flyers. And if you don't think the Hurricanes are making it to I hope it's Buffalo, but Carolina is just an absolute wagon. Flyers beat the Penguins 4-2. Penguins looked like they were going to be able to come back after a 3-0 deficit in the series, but they just couldn't make it happen. Cam York with an overtime winner in Philadelphia. It was a 1-0 game, Game 6 clincher. Quite a game. The guy threw his stick up into the stand. So whoever ended up with that thing has a cool piece of history there for the Flyers. But I said it. I made a little post on X. Basically, these two teams are fighting to see who gets to go into Carolina and get swept by the Hurricanes. We'll see if that actually happens. But like I said, Carolina's a wagon.
Whoa. Tyler and I are Flyers fans here. Don't be talking about getting swept.
Bro, are you Carolina?
Have you watched the Flyers play hockey, man? They could put up 4 goals in the second period right now. So I'm a little worried because Carolina has trouble against like the beat you up type of teams. I'm not sure how much beat you up the Flyers are. They can score goals. They're exciting to watch. So I need to see that offense showing up. And we can score goals. And Dan Vladar, I say Vladar, but it's like Vladar, I think is how you pronounce it.
Vladar.
He's incredible. He's an excellent goalie. And so, yeah, we got a chance. We got a puncher's chance. Definitely not getting swept. Like, they're playing with house money, a bunch of young guys, nothing to lose, everything to prove. Like, give me some Porter Malone to keep or Martone. Wow, you see see how much I pay attention to hockey outside of when it's the playoffs. But
give me that Post Malone from the Flyers.
Don't be talking about getting swept for the Philadelphia Flyers. Come on, Booker.
I might need to just throw a poll up and see, man, because the way Carolina's playing is pretty incredible. But we'll see. We will absolutely see.
This is what I need against Carolina. I need absolute mayhem. 12 guys in the penalty box. You got to beat up a finesse team. It's a physical game. Obviously, they're going to have to score goals, but make it messy. Get some Broad Street bullies back for Philly. So
they're definitely gonna have to do that. But Philadelphia, I think, is just too emotionally spent over the battle for Pennsylvania. That Pittsburgh Penguins, and they're just a young team, man. I think the Flyers are going to be great for the next few years here, but they're just young. I don't know. Carolina.
I don't think they're emotionally spent. I mean, it was a 4-2 series win. The Pittsburgh never really looked like they were going to win that series, and so I don't know. The best part about this Flyers team is no expectations, no pressure, complete opposite. And we're about to transition to some NBA talk here. Opposite for the 76ers. It's like if they lose tonight to Boston, which it's looking good. It's looking good. But if they do, I mean, we're talking Embiid might be gone. It's going to be Philadelphia Phillies. Like, let's clean house. Because you got to build around the young guys at that point. We're just continuing to lose early. They're celebrating Paul George turning 36, but I mean, not everybody is old man LeBron keeping it going. So one other thing on your Boston Sabres. Wow, names are difficult tonight. This series was over. Was it game 1? They put up 4 goals in the third period to win that game. There was like very little time left.
in the game, and they put up 4 goals in quick succession to win that game in Buffalo. Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, but Buffalo, same conference as Carolina, right? They're both in the East.
I believe so. I can confirm
come on, man.
that.
Have some conviction. You're like Carolina's walking into the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, your Sabres there, our Flyers are there. I mean, I don't know.
Hey,
Tyler,
I'm trying
what are
to.
your thoughts here?
I pick with my heart most of the time, man. I'm trying to be a good sportscaster here, bro.
Fair enough.
He's trying to put some spin on it for me. Listen, I'm the one on the outside looking in for the NHL, but I will say the Flyers, they are fun. They are absolutely fun. You're right. I love the offense. You know, it did get a little nostalgic for me. It felt like I was back watching the Mighty Ducks, getting excited about hockey again, since I'm the old man on the block. So, I think I love rooting for the underdog. So don't count them out. I'm on the bandwagon all the way, Kevin.
The Flyers maybe win 1 game in this series, and I'm calling that now. Calling it now.
All right. Well, let's move over to the NBA, as you just threw up your poll there. I think we have 1 vote on that. So, I see the 100%, but it's a little bit twisted there on those.
What is the poll? So. What is the poll?
The poll is
tell people how to vote, man.
All right, we'll do there because I just threw a question on the chat, so I was going to go that route. But if you're listening along, which team is giving us better playoff chaos right now? And so you can drop a comment in the chat. I believe only on YouTube. Hop over on YouTube if you're not watching there. Drop a 1 for the NBA or a 2 for the NHL. I tried to drop a 1 for the NBA, and I don't think my vote was received. So this should be 50-50. I see, Tyler, thank you for voting. I think you have to only do a 1. I think the all day is not happening. So
if it's not on YouTube, it's not being registered, boys. I'm really sorry. Yeah. So you got to jump over there and do it.
StreamYard has to figure that out. StreamYard, if you're listening, if you put the number in your comment, it should give you the vote, not just, hey, I have to comment the 1. Anyway, let's get into the association. LeBron James, and we're not getting into a full-blown GOAT talk tonight. We'll leave Skip Bayless and crew to do those types of things. But how can you not marvel at what LeBron is doing? 41 years old, best player on a playoff team. Yeah, there was no KD. But, I mean, this was Luka's team all year, and then Luka goes down, and they're like, all right, let's trot the old guy out there, see if he still got it. And he does. Like, he's not out there putting up 12 points a night, like just jacking up shots like an old Michael or an old Kobe. But like he is, I don't know. It's incredible. I've come a long way. I used to not like LeBron. When KD went to the Warriors, I was fully on Team LeBron train. And at this point, the only argument you have is the rings and Michael hit a higher peak. I mean, every other argument is in LeBron's favor. So we won't get a full NBA breakdown right now, but obviously 76ers Celtics, 74-63, Game 7 in the Garden. What more could you want? I posted this question here on YouTube, but you can feel free to answer that. Give me some hope. Give me some false sense of hope. Shoot, lie to me. Do the 76ers beat the Boston Celtics tonight? You can drop a comment if you're riding with the 76ers. If you're riding with the Celtics, just go ahead and don't let me know on that one. But we had the Lakers beat the Rockets. 76ers trying to scratch and claw. Very interesting series. The Pistons and the Magic. Pistons forced a Game 7. We talked about them a couple weeks ago. They were kind of like the slept-on 1 seed for obvious reasons. Like, hey, you're about to get bounced out by an 8 seed. First time winning 60 games. Do they actually have it? I mean, Tyler, what are your thoughts? Game 7 tomorrow night, I believe. You think the Pistons get it done at home, or do the Magic have one more dice roll in them?
Listen, like I said, I like to root for the underdog. I think the pressure goes back on the Pistons here, and the way this is kind of drug out, I kind of like the Magic in this. They've kind of made it ugly. They kind of brought the Pistons back down to their level, and as long as they got a puncher's chance going into the fourth quarter, it seems like they find a way to fight and get wins when they needed it. So I do like the Magic. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, I like the Knicks finding a way to come out of the East, and the dice have kind of rolled, and it's looking like that way. And maybe that's me just trying to feed into it more than I think if the Magic move on, that's probably a better matchup if the Knicks continue to progress as well. But yeah, I do like the Magic. I do think they have a chance, and I'm looking forward to the game.
Yeah. So 2 Game 7s tomorrow night. This is an interesting thing. During the NFL season, we talk a lot of NFL spreads, make our picks against the spreads. Both home teams favored by 8.5 points in an NBA Game 7. That feels like a lot. Is that a lot for an NBA game? I'm not as savvy on the NBA spread. I don't know. What do you think, Book? Is that a lot of points for these teams? Seems like they go on runs and they the games always finish close, but I don't keep too much track of those point spreads in the NBA. But what do you think? They're gonna? I mean, 8.5 seems like they're gonna win comfortably in my estimation. But what are your thoughts there, Book?
I think they do. I mean, there have been some really close games, but there's also been some absolute blowouts. Teams just not showing up when it's their time to shine. So Vegas knows more than I ever will, and so I don't think that's too much.
Yeah. All right. Let's do a little more here. So, we were going to go college football storylines. I forgot to put that graphic in the show, and we no Duffy this week, no Alo this week. Hope you fellows are having a good weekend. But there's a little bit of news here in college football, so I wanted to touch on that. Here it is. Big Ten distributes not 3 billion. Got my number wrong here. $1.3 billion in revenue, $500 million more in 1 year. I would say in any business world, if you increase by $500 million in 1 year, you're doing pretty good, and it makes sense why the Big Ten is winning all these national championships. So, I mean, you want to take an Indiana victory lap here, Tyler? That seems like the segue to do that. Like, it is. I mean, can the SEC ever get back on top? Or are we looking at a Big Ten monopoly for the next 50 years of just all these massive donors? Because that revenue, if I'm understanding that correctly, I mean, that's what they're paying out to, like, right? I think it's like they're distributing out $100 billion, if I'm understanding that correctly, which is crazy. That's not how much they're making. That's like they're distributing that, which is wild. So, what do you think, Tyler? Give us the Big Ten victory lap.
I mean, you said it yourself. IU, that alumni group, it runs wild when you get them rolling. It's a big booster club. And then I don't think it's going to be slept on about what IU has brewing, and Michigan and Ohio State. They're not going to go down without a fight. They don't want to see them just IU for as many years as they were a basketball program. They're just going to sneak up all of a sudden and seemingly have one of the best coaches in college football all of a sudden out of nowhere, one of the best staff in college football right now. I mean, from a defensive coordinator perspective, from an offensive coordinator perspective, you got to love what you have there for the next probably decade, roughly, because you assume Cignetti will work on his successor from there. So it's an arms race right now in the Big Ten. That's how you got to look at it. Ohio State, Michigan, they're going to want a piece, and these other teams are going to want theirs as well. Oregon, they're it's not like they're going away. Penn State, they're not going away. Yeah. They saw what a run like that will do. And then even if you get into that third tier, Wisconsin's had a long history of being a good football program. Yeah. So, I think you're going to see the money come in. I think you're going to see them light up those phone lines for donations and boosters and NIL and all this other good stuff. And you're going to see probably the Big Ten reign supreme. This stuff is cyclic. It kind of goes in a circle. The SEC, they come up for a while. Let's not forget about the days of yore of Notre Dame and USC and all of that fun stuff, the West Coast, Cal, and them controlling things for a while, Stanford. So these things kind of rotate around. And I think the Big Ten is the one who's going to be sitting on the top for a while.
It's really wild to me that they have $340 million more dollars to play with in the Big Ten than the SEC. That is wild to me.
Because even when you look back at Nick Saban, great coach, Kirby Smart, great coach, but most of their championships, they had virtually unstoppable teams. Like those Georgia defenses were so good, you would have to be a bad coach to screw that up. Like the Alabama teams, like he thrived on, I'm going to get more better players than you will. Like I think it's even a quote from Saban, like, hey, it's easy to coach good players. And so, when we look at this last NFL draft, it's just littered with Ohio State talent. I saw from their championship team, their entire starting 11 on defense has been drafted into the NFL over the last couple of drafts. And so it's crazy. And they're getting those players because they can pay the money. And so SEC's got to figure that out, with our SEC homer and this over here, Booker. But I mean, what's your prediction, Booker? When do you think the next SEC national football champion will be? What year? It's a tough one, huh?
Next year.
Oh.
Do you have a team for us, or are you gonna? You got to have somebody in mind if you're picking next year.
Tennessee. I'm just kidding.
Tennessee, here it comes. Here it comes. Get the orange ready.
No. I think. I mean, we talked about Alabama last week. I don't know if next year is the year for Alabama and all this money flying around, but like, I do wonder. I mean, we've seen a little bit about like the money being a distraction. I do wonder if like a Georgia, I mean, just the pedigree of Georgia or Alabama. Maybe I'm wrong about what I said last week. It wouldn't surprise me if we've got a Alabama or a Georgia national championship next year.
Yeah. No, I mean, they have the talent, but you just see these teams are like different levels, and then you got Cignetti, who just takes, a talented Indiana squad, but maximizes what they had to its utmost potential. They didn't have all the top recruits, but coaching, like you said, Tyler, coaching still matters. So, and then one other thing, we don't have to belabor this a ton. There's been a lot of news out on this week, but Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech quarterback, out this year, sports gambling, I think details are still coming out on that. I did see an article or something today that he is appealing, probably not for eligibility at Texas Tech, but trying to appeal this and regain eligibility. Again, there's a lot of stuff out there on that. My question is, and I think we had a show this past fall, was like kind of during the show, if this is your first time watching, during the college football season, this podcast started, hey, there's a game on 5:00, kind of the main event for ABC. And so we started out like, hey, let's watch the game and talk about sports. And so oftentimes we kind of highlight whatever that game is. And I think it was the week that Texas Tech started Will Hammond, we were kind of highlighting him this week, because I remember watching the game, like, wow, this kid can play. And so rather than getting into the weeds of the Brendan Sorsby, all the scandal there, what do we think the ceiling is for Will Hammond, Texas Tech quarterback? Can he, get them? I'm assuming Texas Tech is certainly a school with money. Can he, Will Hammond lead this team to a top 10 to a college football playoff, or is this going to be a, kind of rebuild it type of year for the Texas Tech program? What are your thoughts on that, Booker?
I think it's unfortunately, even with Sorsby, truthfully, like this is just my opinion, even with Sorsby, I don't think that Texas Tech is at the top of the ladder there in the Big 12 next year. I think Texas is coming with a vengeance. I think Arch Manning is going to have a different kind of year than he's had the past two. I think Texas A&M is going to come back strong. So I don't see Texas Tech having the same success that they had last year, this upcoming year, with or without Sorsby. And yeah, I do think Will Hammond is certainly more than a serviceable quarterback, but that's just a lot to deal with within the locker room. They got absolutely smoked in the college football playoff this last year. I just don't see it, but they do have the budget. They certainly have the budget to make that happen potentially if they, the cards fall right, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah. I was like looking up what guys did in high school. It doesn't always translate. Will Hammond, 3,900 passing yards, 35 touchdowns his senior year. But this is where he's a difference maker. He ran for 1,000 yards as a senior, 19 touchdowns on the ground. So I think the element he can bring to Texas Tech, where Sorsby, he's like the Mendoza, probably runs like a giraffe type of guy. Hammond, he's a little bit of a different animal at the quarterback position. So I think that can help them. They've got who's that running back that they had that was out hurt? Is he back this year? Who was that guy?
Oh, was it Joyner from USC?
That sounds right.
Quentin
so,
Joyner, I
can
believe
see
his
them
name was.
maybe they're gonna have a good defense. So I could see them. Hey, let's lean into the strengths of Hammond a little more and become a little more of a ground and pound type of team. That could work in a Big 12 where everybody's trying to air raid. Why not go run heavy and just beat up on all these teams that can't play defense? So I like that strategy if you're listening to any Big 12 boosters or coaches. So all right, quick update here. Oh man, this is coming out of the wire. This last few minutes of the show, I'm going to be a mess. But 6-point lead for the 76ers. Boston's on a 9-2 run in the fourth quarter though. So we are sweating this out. Carolina Hurricanes on the power play, 2-0 lead. I don't know. Nobody responded in the chat. So what are we thinking, fellas? Are the 76ers going to pull this out, or am I going to be just a hot mess here in about 9 minutes?
We got this bad boy.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Boston is going down, but the 76ers then run into the bruising Knicks, which I haven't been following the NBA much, but the Knicks, the New York Knicks have been – they're a tough team. They're gritty. They're tough. They'll beat you around a little bit. And so I don't know if they can get past them, but I think Boston – I don't think Boston's able to pull this one out.
Yeah, I agree. I think 76ers are going to finish this one off. Celtics showing a little bit of life. That's great. They're showing a little bit of fight, but I don't think they're going to come in on this one. And then just jump back a little bit there, Kevin, on the Will Hammond thing. I agree with you. I think, 4-star recruit coming out of high school, had some numbers. I kind of took a look back at that as well. Had the ACL situation, but he's legitimate dual threat. So I agree. I think he could sneak up on some people. I always like it too when you give a QB nobody believes you in, nobody believes in you vibes. And, listen, they all think we have no backup option. Go prove them wrong. So the biggest question mark is going to be 2 starts, no time in training camp here with, the ACL and recovering from that. How quickly can he pick it up? But he's got a good chance to shut some people up. So let's see if he does.
And I mean this with all love. When you say that, something's coming. But and there's no spring portal, so it's not possible. But the memes and the trash talk for the Dylan Raiola, dad bod, rolling into Texas Tech to complete the Patrick
quite
Mahomes.
literally rolling
quite
in.
literally, the story writes itself. There's just no spring portal, or that man would have been like, yeah, all right, I'll take a couple million to go sling it in a 15 Texas Tech Raiders jersey. Like he's probably still looking at how can I get to Texas Tech to complete the arc there. But all right, let's jump over. We're gonna go. So we've got the NFL. I've got one other storyline here that's near and dear to your heart this week, Tyler. And then we'll transition back after the show into some NFL stuff. So yeah, let's go this little Anthony Richardson. If I can get that up, there we go. Colts made some news this week, which it wasn't really news and it wasn't really a surprise, but they didn't pick up the 5th-year option for Anthony Richardson. Seemingly the right move. I don't think anybody thought they were going to pay him the $27 million or whatever it is for a 5th-year option to be Danny Dimes' backup. The question here, though, is where do they trade him? This is screaming Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell's next project, which I personally think would be an excellent move. Where do you think? What kind of value do you want, Tyler, and how soon do you think they trade him? Are they going to move on from him? I mean, this talented of a player, you don't think you're just going to let that guy walk when you could get some kind of value back from him. And so, yeah, what should the Colts do here with this Anthony Richardson situation? I'm guessing you were on the train of like, hey, we're not going to pay $75 million combined for our quarterbacks, especially for one to sit on the bench. So, yeah, any thoughts on the Anthony Richardson Colts situation?
Listen, I'm an AR believer. I've been on it from the very beginning, and I'm still not giving up hope on the kid. He's still extremely young. He had a very unfortunate set of circumstances befall him last year with the whole broken eye situation from, a training band and all of those shenanigans. I think it's the right decision. Obviously, Kevin, you said it. You can't be playing 2 quarterbacks like that. There was no way they could pick up that 5th-year option. And I think he's let it leak a little bit that he wants to be in, Green Bay, like a LaFleur, a McVay style offense. Now, obviously, the Rams are not coming to get him. That's out the door. I think the Vikings is a legitimate option. I think Green Bay is a legitimate option. You look at what happened with Malik Willis. But all that being said, I've preached it from the very beginning. Ballard is extremely stubborn. And I think at this point, he won't get the value on the trade that he wants. And he's not going to let it go out. He's going to set a line in the sand and say, this is what I'm going to get back for you. And if I don't get that, the market has set the price. So it's not the value we need. We'd rather keep you as a backup quarterback. And to be honest, I think that's the best opportunity for Anthony Richardson as well. Right now, it does not look like Daniel Jones is necessarily going to be ready for he's moving around. He's doing those things. That's great. But with the position that both Steichen and Ballard are in, can they really risk putting Danny Dimes out there too early and re-injuring or aggravating or anything like that? No, they can't. The best value for the team is to hold on to Anthony Richardson, because if he goes out there and he plays well, even if you're all chips in on Daniel Jones, you can get some value added by letting Anthony Richardson start game 1, start game 2, and tell him, hey, you want to go land at one of these spots, go put out some great tape for 2 games, and then we'll continue to look at trade options at the beginning of the year once Daniel Jones is fully healed and ready to come back. Now, who knows? Maybe Daniel Jones is superhuman and I just don't realize it, and he's going to be ready. But the future obviously hinges on him. That has been decided. And I think the best value for Ballard is to keep AR and go against the grain and go against logic and say, no, we're keeping him. He may be our starter in week 1. Put some tape out there and see if you can increase the value that you're going to get. Because once it didn't happen in the draft, that has to scream no one was willing to give what Ballard wanted.
I agree with that as well. I think that there's no way anyone's going to pay what Ballard thinks Anthony, or whatever Ballard paid for him to be there with the issues that have happened in his early career here. So I think he stays at Indy.
Little bit of a rabbit trail here. So I was trying to figure out, like, who are the bottom tier teams? Because, like, if a good team, good teams probably already have a good, sorry for my dog in the background if you hear that. A good teams already have probably pretty decent backup quarterbacks. There's like, if our plan A goes down, we want a guy in there, and typically good teams value that position to have the person in waiting. So anyway, I was on NFL.com here looking at tier 5 quarterbacks, and Jaden Daniels, this is a complete rabbit trail. This is not in our notes. They've got him ranked 28th in a tier 5 quarterback. Is that ludicrous or what? I mean, I don't like the Commanders. I obviously Eagles homer here, but Jaden Daniels, he went from the chosen one to a 28th ranked quarterback with Geno Smith and Jacoby Brissett. Like, am I missing something, or is NFL.com off their rocker? Whoever wrote this article is
I just
crazy.
have one. I just have one thing to say, and Tyler, I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say, because mine's a much shorter analysis. But the best ability is availability, and that's all I'll say.
I mean,
yes,
that has to be what it's pointing to. Now, I will say, and this is what we have to figure out. Was it the nagging injuries? You saw some flaws in the game. We saw some bad decision making. We saw some offense losing some steam, some stuttering. Is that because of the injury? So I think you're trying to balance those two things and figure out. But I don't know. Torpedoing to 28 after one season,
2 spots above JJ McCarthy. I mean, that's that's rough. That is. I don't know. That is, you went from MVP to that. And partly why I was looking at that is Anthony Richardson, and we'll put a bow on this with this, but his cap hit is $10 million. So probably the challenge here for Ballard is, like, you want awesome draft compensation and you want a team to eat the cap money. And so like teams aren't just wanting to bring in a $10 million developmental quarterback. Like that's ridiculous. And so when you miss on that first round quarterback, it kind of it sort of screws you over where you're going to have to just eat the mistake, take your third round pick or worse. And if you take a worse draft pick, then somebody will probably help eat that salary cap. If you don't, then you're going to be stuck with it. But I think they're going to end up trading him. People are going to get hurt. And so again, why I got into that rabbit trail there of the tiers is just because, I mean, I don't know if a Geno Smith gets hurt or, if Penix gets hurt, if somebody like that gets hurt, I could see a team taking a risk, taking a flyer, like, hey, let's see what this guy has. Probably not the Vikings just because they have the Kyler JJ thing going on, unless both of those guys get hurt and they're having to go back to Josh Dobbs. I don't see that happening, but I think because so many people get hurt every year, that there will be a team around the deadline. And then again, you don't have to pay that full $10 million if it's for 8 games. Hey, go out there, do what you do, Anthony Richardson, see if you can stay healthy and try to earn himself, a longer-term spot. So I think
what about the Arizona Cardinals, man? What about the Arizona Cardinals?
Well, they're in the Arch Manning sweepstakes, aren't they? He might win them too many games.
Yeah. I agree, and they also just went through all of the Kyle Murray drama with the questions and all that. Now, again, I'm an AR believer, but if one of the knocks are going to be tap out gate and why he wasn't able to come along with the offense, and the Colts have had their own PR nightmares of stoking those flames themselves with Steichen and the QB coach Turner coming out and saying, we did everything we could and da 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 da. So they've dug their own hole a little bit as well, but. Ballard's a stubborn dude. He doesn't like to give up on players that he fully believes has the talent to do there. I mean, we've held on to multiple players and given them little contracts to extend it and try to prove a point time and time again. And I just wouldn't be surprised if Ballard he just loves to be stubborn.
Yeah. Again, we posted this in our chat here, but who should trade for Anthony Richardson? Feel free to drop a comment. Who do you think gets hurt and does that?
Before we go to the call to action, are you paying attention to the 76ers at the moment?
Is this a bad?
Oh man!
Oh, this is real bad.
Oh no!
Real bad.
Oh
19-7 run, man. This is not good.
Oh no!
That's not good. The Flyers and the 76ers
hold on to a 1-point lead though.
Clinging
to it.
I will say, and this is going to come back to bite me in the Diego Pavia argument.
Oh gosh.
The difference for the Cardinals on Richardson versus Kyler is like they don't want the Kentucky Derby sized quarterback. They want, Anthony Richardson is definitely not that. He is 6'5", every bit of 250. Like he might be built like a glass house, but he certainly doesn't look like one. And so, that's certainly Booker's going to use that. I just kind of gave him some free ammunition there.
Oh yeah. I just found out that Diego Pavia was the size of a jockey. I'm going to use that now.
You're going to need all the help you can get. So I figured we at least give you one, but all right, let's throw it over here to Tyler for our middle of the show action.
All right, we are in that long portion. We're going to talk NHL. We're going to talk NBA because we are trying to build a community to talk about all of it. Sports are just better when you have a little banter, when you have a little conversation. And, in a world that's moved to everything remote, everything's online, you used to go down and hang, at the bar, talk a little shop, talk a little ball. And now we do it on the internet. So we hope that you will join us along, whether you're watching on X right now or you're watching on YouTube. Either way, we'd love it if you'd make your way over to YouTube, give it a subscribe, give it a like. It helps us to know that we're making the content that you want to see, that we're covering the topics you enjoy. But more importantly, we just hope that you'll turn on that bell and get notified when we're going live so that we can chop it up with you in the comment section as we do this podcast live. And then, of course, get in those comments as we drop content, shorts, and other takes, both on X and YouTube throughout the week. So come join us, try to build a community here at the Sideline Podcast. Give us a like and a follow, and make sure that you're getting involved with the community.
I was going to go right to Diego
well
Pavia, but I'm going to be just a mess for the next 5 minutes here. So I will.
Oh, let me just take it. I'll just take the Diego Pavia. That's fine.
Go ahead. You can get us going. I'll lock in. It's almost better to not watch than to watch and see the lead, burn away. So we'll get into. We usually end the show with our NFL news, fantasy football, picks against the spread, that type of stuff. So it's the off season, like Tyler said. We're talking grass and Kentucky Derby because there's not a lot. But one thing that is swirling on the internet, and this is where we do divide. We're not, this isn't a debate show per se, like Skip Bayless, the goat of chaos, I guess we could call him, but where they're just like intention, like, no, you're wrong, Booker. No, you're wrong, Tyler. Like, that's not our style. But when it comes to this man, Diego Pavia, the dribble, the nonsense that you see from the X Sideline Podcast is that man, right? Let's see if I can get this. Nope, not that guy. This guy right over there, Mr. Jared Booker. You've got to be like a top 5, top 10 Diego Pavia troll hater on X. And I just want to know why. Do you not like short people? Do you think he should be a horse jockey? I mean, this man is a Baltimore Ravens. Yes, standing tall, that center's backside was up to his belly button. But this man is an NFL quarterback in spring training right now. And so why do you hate Diego Pavia? That's what I want to know first before I defend him. Why do you hate this man so much?
Bro, so hate is strong. I don't want to say that I hate Diego Pavia. I just hate the way he acts. I hate the way he carries himself. He is a human. Hear me out here. A human, and I believe, because of my own personal faith, made in the image of God with value. But just time and time again, the struggles that he's had when he hits log in on Instagram or decides he's going to take X by storm and put out his thoughts about how something didn't break his way, that I can't handle the drama. So you know what, to me, you know what he is? He will cause any team that he's on the same issues, the same sadness that Puka Nacua is causing the LA Rams right now, except he's not as talented. He's not going to be a main piece of any team. And so it just, to me, it's great. Like, you got signed as an undrafted free agent. Vanderbilt I saw some posts. Vanderbilt's like, yeah, he got a 3-year contract and he didn't even have to get like a tryout. Well, yeah, but there was also a guy from Nigeria who's never played a snap of football that got drafted by a Super Bowl contender, and you were left sitting on the bench, and then you kind of just throw a fit about it. I don't know. I just don't like the mentality. I don't like the behavior. The character, to me, screams that there's going to be drama wherever you go. Something I do appreciate is that the man, he's a hard worker. Like, I know that he does not give up on things. He works hard. He's going to be in the weight room. He's doing, but you have to do that when you're 4'12" or 4'12". That's 5 feet. When you're 5 feet tall, you have to do that. But good for you. Like, that's awesome. But he was on a video, and I don't know who was interviewing him, but they compared him to Lamar Jackson for his college stats. And they said, in college, do you think you were the better quarterback than Lamar Jackson? And he said, yeah. Like, the delusion is just off the charts.
Every cornerback in America, if you think they're the best corner with a C, and they would all say, yeah, I'm the best. I'm better than Richard Sherman ever was, Darrelle Revis. Like, there's some positions where you need an unhealthy level of confidence to keep, like, to line up at quarterback with 300-pound men coming to crush your bones and your soul. Like, there's a couple positions where you want some swagger and some confidence, and quarterback is one of them. Like, you can't just be like, you have to lead and galvanize the boys, and like takes a little bit of like, I don't know. I think this guy hates him, Tyler. That's all I'm gonna say. Look at this. This is a tweet from February 26th. Sonny Styles, 11-foot broad jump. I've got notes here. I've got notes.
Good.
From all of your
Receipts have been taken.
I've got receipts. And I should have found more. Sonny Styles, 11'2" broad jump, right after his 43.5-inch vert. I quote, that is like 8 Diego Pavias. There's nothing to do with this man's character, his ability on a football field. I mean, that's just off the top rope, freaking elbow to will he find success? And so again, if you're seeing Booker's poll, you have to just comment the number. You can't
on YouTube.
On YouTube, you can't comment. StreamYard, figure that out. You can't do one Baltimore Ravens, he's the GOAT, something like that. Agree with Kevin. You have to just do the number. So let's see if we get any responses there. Tyler, get in on here. Where are you at on the Diego Pavia scale? And again, I come across like I just have to absolutely defend this guy to the bitter end, but because my partner in crime here is just literally throwing gratuitous shots at this man's height on the internet, like
gratuitous.
Well, listen, I think someone did a lot of things for you in a campus to Canton league that should have been my first win ever playing. And I don't think you forgot it. I think you know that you got on Diego's shoulders and you just rode that all the way to victory. And it has just taken these glasses here that you don't wear and just rose petals all over the screen of them, so that when you look at Diego, you're just seeing nothing but shine right there. Look at that. Just roses all over it. You know what it gives me vibes of? It gives me vibes of Johnny Manziel. That's who it gives me vibes of. Okay. It gives me vibes of a guy who, yes, has a lot of swagger, has a lot of talent, but doesn't have the ability to have some self-reflection and say, you know what? I'm going to the next level now. This has worked for me to get where I've been. And make no question about it. That attitude, that dog that he's got inside of him, got him to where he was at Vanderbilt. And because of that swagger, helped him overcome certain shortness in his game, to say. So that being said, he has that, and I'm sure that's a big chip on his shoulder that everybody has probably given him the too small taunt over and over again in his life. But rather than just let that be the fuel and go out there and say, I'm going to have this professional demeanor, I am going to be the face of a franchise, it's exactly what Booker said. He's gone off the rails with it. It's been very Johnny Manziel-esque, and we all saw how that story ended.
No, I get the comparisons. Light-skinned, run around, the bravado, like I get it, but they're totally different. I don't know, like Booker said, the work ethic, like Johnny football on the spot, SEC, the entire world shining in his oyster, won the Heisman, like all of that success took him down that road. And you know, he's come out, he's got interviews of just you see a more humbled Johnny Manziel in his 30s or however old he is now. But Pavia to me is like completely different story. Like he's scratched and has clawed his way, in part because he's the little guy out there. He is not 5'10". That is not a Russell Wilson, 5'10 and a half, almost 5'11". I mean, that man has got to be under 5'10". But I just think that scratch and claw mentality of like, hey, I am going to outwork and put in the required effort. To me, I'm like, give the guy a shot. I think that's what you want in a backup, in a developmental quarterback, is like he's going to put in the work and not come into Baltimore saying, yeah, Lamar Jackson, move aside. This is my team now. But, yeah, if he gets a shot on a Sunday, I have full confidence that he will go out there and make plays and could lead a team. And he's not going to be getting distracted with Call of Duty like other short quarterbacks out there. He's going to be locked in and needs, hey, I got to maximize every ounce of work and prep possible because I can't just make up for it because I'm Josh Allen and I can jump over people. Like, he's got to work hard and he can put a ball on a dot. So I don't know.
Kevin,
I see through glasses because of my campus can't win. I admit to that, but I also feel like the nonsense from Booker has me just like, come on, man. Like, so let me throw this up here. This beautiful graphic that we made, and one rabbit trail because again, I'm just all about the NBA right now. 103-98. Let's freaking go. 1 minute left.
I need one more moment to defend myself after you show whatever you're going to show.
I just have a minute.
You got me fired up now.
I'm not going to show the LeBron graphic, but I am going to end the show with that because I scrolled for like 4 hours to find that earlier. So yes, I'm going to show that. So don't let me forget that. But here's our Diego Pavia graphic. So Booker, let's argue this out. Was kind of what we've already been doing. But he signs with Baltimore. Winnipeg Blue Bombers have his rights. I think it was McAfee came out this week with, hey, this is the poster child for the UFL. Like, this is why the UFL was created, was for this. I just don't think they've had that, like, a player like Pavia. So I wouldn't hate him going to the UFL. I want to see somebody like an Anthony Richardson go to the UFL and light it up. And earn your chance back to the NFL. I think that is a perfect spot for him to go and just be like, hey, go prove that you're significantly better than all these guys trying to get back into the NFL. Like, go prove that you are on another level and just play football. I think that's Anthony Richardson. Back to that topic is like, he just needs to play football. Or what is the NADA? Because I'm pretty sure this is where you land. Is he just going to end up in the National Automobile Dealers Association? There was a great meme GIF on, it was like Pavia's Ford Motorsports or something like that. It was great. It was funny. I don't know. Where's he going to end up? In 3 years, who's he playing for, or is he selling cars down in Tennessee?
Okay, so I'm going to answer this question, and then I'm going to say two more things. My first, I'm going to answer the question by asking a question. Does he want to play football? Or does he just want to ride pine and get reps in practice? If he wants to play football, he will go to the UFL or he'll go to the CFL, and he will play football. If he stays in the NFL, he's going to ride pine and get practice reps and potentially get in on some packages on the field during some games. Like, that's fine. If that's the goal, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But what I want to say is I want to know from you guys, first thing, what is the over-under on him? How many years it takes before he's peeing in a fountain in Las Vegas? And then second, I want to say Kyler Murray is a tiny guy. Kyler Murray can throw the ball on a line. He throws dots. Kyler Murray is also faster than Diego Pavia. Kyler Murray was just released by Arizona Cardinals because things aren't working out. Now, does he have new life in Minnesota? I don't know. But at some point, we have to just accept that stature matters. When you've got trees in front of you and you're taking a snap, if you don't have wheels, you got to be able to see over your own line. So it doesn't matter to me. The talent doesn't matter. Kyler Murray is a way better quarterback on every level than Diego Pavia, but he couldn't make it happen.
Kyler Murray should have played baseball. Kyler Murray,
well, then is not play baseball.
He's like baseball, Call of Duty. Like, he's this squirrel brain, and my son is bouncing off the walls right now because the 70 freaking Sixers, 105-98. This would be probably the worst collapse in my life if they lose 7 points in 20-some seconds. Boston is going down. Chisholm Sports, 76 running a bruising. Get that crap off the street. This is exciting stuff. This is the kind of momentum you take onto a little bit of a playoff run. So give me some 41-year-old LeBron in the NBA Finals against Joel Embiid. That's what I need right now. But yeah, how about them? We're way off course, but 76ers looking like they're going to pull it off. But you can't compare Kyler and Diego. They're completely different. You're just talking about the like.
Didn't
Bryce
we just
Young.
compare Lamar? You were okay with the comparison with Lamar Jackson?
No, that was we're not comparing those two. Like Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP to a guy trying to make a roster. Like there's no there's no comparison there other than they wear the same jersey. No. I just think Bryce Young, what's the difference in Bryce Young and Kyler Murray, Tyler?
Well, I mean, what's the chances Lamar plays a full season here though? Like that's the missing piece that I don't think we're talking about. So if Pavia wants to go with the Ravens, if he wants to prove everyone wrong, then I think you go to the Ravens. I don't think you do go to the UFL. I think you bank on the likelihood that Lamar doesn't probably play a full season for whatever reason, and that you are good enough to be the number 2, go prove everyone wrong, and get in an NFL game and show every single team that passed on you why they were wrong. If I'm him, that's the route I'm going. Now, do I think he can do that? That's a completely separate question. But yeah, Kyler Murray in the MLB versus Bryce Harper. Give me Kyler. We're just running around those bases, and they don't even realize he's doing it.
I don't see Diego Pavia beating out Snoop Huntley, and Snoop Huntley's like 68 years old. Like,
I think not this year. Like I agree with you, Book. If there's an injury this year, I think it's probably Snoop. But like in the day and age of you can have 3 quarterbacks, you can have an emergency quarterback. Why not have that emergency quarterback break glass? Like, oh crap, we're down to Christian McCaffrey throwing the ball. Hey, let's throw Diego Pavia out there. He could lead us to a late game comeback better than a Christian McCaffrey throwing it for the Niners. So like in the era that we're in, where you can carry 3 quarterbacks and that third guy doesn't even count. Yeah, give me a flyer on somebody like this who was able to take a Vanderbilt to heights they've never been before. I mean, they are the laughing stock of college football, one of the top 5 laughing stocks along with Indiana, and look at where Indiana's at. But like they were in that group of like, these are not football schools. They play football, but they do not play it well, to like 10-2 on the verge of a playoff run. So like, I just got, and I read an article this week, like a big part of them getting, what's that quarterback, Jared
Curtis, I think.
Jared Curtis, 5-star quarterback. Like, why does he want to go to Vanderbilt? Because of like the road that was paved from Pavia, like that, the junkyard dog mentality. Like, I think there's a lot to work with there. Yeah, there's a short stature, but I compare him more to Bryce Young in not the biggest guy in the fight, but he's going to work hard, and the football character. Again, I think it's up to Diego if he's going to let his character veer more towards a Kyler, Johnny Manziel, or like, hey, I'm going to be locked in on football and getting better and grinding and being a professional. And I think being around other professionals is going to push him that way, especially going to an organization like Baltimore where it's just like meat and potatoes, show up to work, be a blue collar team. Like, excellent fit for him. And so, yeah, I don't know what his career will look like. I guess maybe he has a spin in the CFL or something like that, but I don't think he should be selling cars for the NADA would be my thoughts. So
all I know, last thing I'll say, you in our Campus to Canton League, you better have that guy sitting in your taxi squad till the end of time, because the way you're speaking about him is that he might have the juice for the NFL. So you better not let that guy go.
Yeah.
He better be there.
I will, because what Tyler said, man, I'm going to ride that for my fantasy football team. I'm taking that man for that one game that he can go in there and light somebody up. He'll probably still be on my bench, but I will take the victory lap. So, all right, we beat that one to death. 109-100, first time
since
the freaking 80s. Before I was born, in my lifetime, the 76ers have never beaten the Celtics in the playoffs. We did it. Game 7 in the Garden. Oh, yeah, let's go. Get the clap out there. Let's go. Wow, that is huge. Meanwhile, I don't even have the I think it was 3-0 last I checked on the Flyers, getting absolutely pummeled. Like Booker said. We're just pulling up that score here for us. Wow.
Well,
first time since the 80s. Crazy.
That's awesome. Well, you're pulling up that score. Quick little story. I'll make it real short. Kevin and I used to live in the same city. One year for his birthday, I blindfolded him, drove him up. We lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. We took him to a Carolina Hurricanes game, only to find out that it was one of those gifts. Like, I paid for the tickets. It was one of those gifts where it was like, actually, Jared, that was more for you because you enjoy hockey. And at that time, Kevin was not as big of a hockey fan. So it was like, I realized in hindsight, like, I basically just bought myself tickets and took my best friend to go watch the Carolina Hurricanes on his birthday. So that will forever remain in my mind whenever we talk about the Carolina Hurricanes. So
it's definitely a funny memory, but it was, I mean, professional sports is a big sports fan. I was probably a dramatic, 19-year-old or whatever it was at that point, but it was a very thoughtful birthday gift, but it was funny because you were you still are a massive hockey guy, and I like hockey in the playoffs. I don't really watch it any other time of the year, but right now I need my Flyers to at least get one win here. So you can't be taking that. You got swept victory lap. So, okay. A couple other, let's just wrap this up here. A couple other things here in the NFL. The Texans just keep spending money. That's another NFL news. That we're back on the right train of talking NFL news. Sorry for my 76ers rabbit trail amongst all the other places we've gone tonight. 3-year, $54 million, Azeez Al-Shaair. Hopefully I pronounced that right. We talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago. It's good to continue to make your strength even stronger, give the coach the defense that he wants and help him to have that awesome defense. But again, you see this. I think it was right as the podcast was coming out, there was a thing on X about like CJ Stroud looking, absolutely yoked up right now. So maybe CJ seeing the Texans handing out all this money and he's saying, you know what, I'm gonna go out there and prove something. So I don't know, Tyler, what's your hunch? You think they're gonna sign him to a big deal, or all this money they're spending on defense, are they gonna come to him and be like, we'll give you the Baker Mayfield 3 years, $30 million, or 3 years for 90, but we're not giving you the 60 per like a Dak Prescott?
I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan, so I may get that AFC South hater, pushback on this, but I think it says a lot that they're spending so much on the defense when they have what 2 years ago they believed to be the QB base of the franchise for the next however many years. I mean, usually when that happens, now you can make an argument, but if you look at these deals, I have to get a little deeper into them. It looks like for the next couple of years, they're paying a lot to this defense, that they believe their path to success runs through the defense. They haven't spent a ton of money on the offense. They've gotten some pieces, but I think that what they have shown is that they are in a wait and see mode on the offensive side of the ball, and that they are fully in on the defense taking them to the promised land. And that's a risky game. That's my other point to this whole Houston thing. I don't know that that's how you can get it done. I think there's a certain level that you are always going to have on the offensive side of the ball. And I just don't know that you have that like you had with the Seahawks. Obviously, the Seahawks was a defensive first style team, but Sam Darnold and what he could do with JSN and that run game behind it, I believe they thought they were buying into that McDonald defense, but they had a certain floor on the offense. I don't know that you have that floor with the Houston Texans, and I think they believe that they can ride this defense, and that's why they're so invested into the defense. This is an offensive-driven league, and it would be sending red flags for me as a Houston Texans fan that we are putting so much money towards the defensive side of the ball when we have a big decision coming up on CJ Stroud.
Man, you want to hear this little nugget here? If Baker Mayfield was a Houston Texan last year, they're in the Super Bowl.
Ooh, that's a take.
Let's clip that.
CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud right is there. Just not getting it done. Yeah, that's take that, make that a little short. So they pay Al-Shaair. He's ranked third as far as pay grade, only behind Roquan Smith and Fred Warner. So they're throwing tons of money at that defense. But you're absolutely right with CJ Stroud. Like, he's not getting that big contract, not just because even if they had the money, they're not doing. He's got more to prove. The man was the reason they didn't move on in that playoff game against the Patriots last year. And so he's got a lot to prove this year.
Yeah. Sneaky signing by the Texans, though. David Montgomery from the Lions. He's only 28 years old. When you say David Montgomery, you're like, oh, this guy's like 35 years old, still out there running the rock. Like, he wasn't just they weren't giving him carries away from Jahmyr Gibbs just because he's a nice guy. Like, he's a talented player. And so I like bringing in the veteran running back. It obviously didn't work out with Nick Chubb. Like they hoped he still had some tread on the tires. He didn't. But a David Montgomery with a Woody Marks or Jawar Jordan. I mean, you want to talk about some Campus of Canton memories right there in those two guys. But some talented young running backs with a David Montgomery to kind of lead the charge. Like, hey, and I'm not saying they're going to be anywhere close to that Detroit offense, but I think that shows like, hey, let's David Montgomery, 4 yards in a cloud of dust, leadership. And I think he could take on more of a role than what he was even doing in Detroit. They just had such a talented player that they're like, we can't give you 20 carries a game because this guy's a specimen. But I think David Montgomery could take on 20, 25 carries and some passing down work. So again, maybe next week we need to get more into some fantasy football stuff. We're out of time for this evening. But I like David Montgomery this year on the Texans. I think he's still young enough, and they're going to want to play defense, lean on the run. The wide receivers they have, they're always trying to stay healthy. So, like, I think it could be let's run the ball a lot for Houston this year and see what we got. I mean, I think the only way Stroud gets the big bucks is if he takes them on that Super Bowl run this year. That could solidify, like, okay, you got us to a Super Bowl. We've got to pay. Like, we can't let that guy walk out of the building. So we're going to give you, we're going to give you the blank check. So anyway, we appreciate you guys spending your Saturday evening with us. How about those 76ers, Flyers of tonight? I thought the Flyers had a chance to win game one. I was almost certain the 76ers were going to lose. So that shows you the depravity of my 76ers hope lately is just like, I've got no hope in the 76ers. So I'm so happy that they proved me wrong on that. Again, thank you for sticking with us through the nonsense, the grass cutting, the Kentucky Derby, the short jokes, everything in between. That's Tyler, Mr. Diesel 31 on the right, at TSP Booker. I'm at TSP Kevin. And give us a subscribe on YouTube. We're here each week, 6 p.m. Go ahead, Booker. What do you got for us?
Before you go, man, don't you got a little
magnificent graphic? Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's why I was going to try to lead you in, man. We can't go without the graphic, baby.
I scrolled, and then I said 4 hours earlier. It was in my X notifications when I woke up at like 6 a.m. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, we should use that for the show. I'm putting the notes together this afternoon, and I've got to scroll through my notifications on X, which is like, if you're trying to find something from hours ago on X, like, good luck. I mean, it's just, we're talking. And so I was like committed to scrolling for this beauty right here. From At the Score, LeBron James wins a round with Father Times. I think there's a nice explicit attached to that as well. Who the Rockets thought they were playing, just old man, 75-year-old LeBron, and who they actually got. That brought a smile to my heart this morning to start the day. I'm just seeing old grizzled LeBron out there at 60 years old, just still giving people buckets like it's the YMCA. So anyway, appreciate you guys being with us. All the nonsense. We'll see you next week, 6 p.m. Saturday. Be here.